This is your guide to factorising expressions into single brackets. Factorise simply means put brackets back into an expression. So what we need to do is to find a common factor, and in fact the highest common factor of the two terms that we are given. So here, because there is only a letter on the first term, we know that it's going to be a numerical factor. The highest common factor of 3 and 15 is 3. So in other words, the biggest number that has both 3 and 15 in its times table. In order to work out what goes inside the bracket, we think 3 times what would make that 3c. Well, 3 times c makes 3c. And then 3 times something makes positive 15. 3 times 5 makes 15, so it's plus 5. For the next example, same idea. We start off by writing our brackets. There's only a letter on this first term, so I know there's not going to be a letter on the outside. We then look and think, what is the highest common factor of both 8 and 10? So in other words, the biggest number that has 8 and 10 in its times table. 2 is the biggest factor we've got here, so 2 goes on the outside. 2 times what would make 8m? Well, 2 times 4 makes 8, so 2 times 4m would make 8m. We want the answer here to be minus 10, so 2 times something makes minus 10, and that would have to be minus 5. For the next example, as you can see, both of the terms have a letter on them. And in this case, both of the letters are the same. So here, instead of having a number on the outside, we've actually got that h goes on the outside. Because there is no number in front of the h squared, I know there's not going to be a number here as a factor of both. H times what would make h squared? Well, h times itself, so h times h makes h squared. It's a plus, because it isn't the question. H times something makes 5h, so that would have to be 5. For the next example, we're getting a little bit more complex. We're going to have both numbers and letters on the outside. The reason I know this is there is a common letter in both of the terms, C, and both 4 and 6 have a factor, have a common factor that can be put onto the outside. The highest common factor of 4 and 6, so biggest number with 4 and 6 in its times table, is 2. And both terms have the letter C in it, so I'm going to put 2C onto the outside. When we're working out what goes inside, it's sometimes easier to treat the numbers and the letters slightly separately. 2 times something makes 4. 2 times 2 makes 4. And C times something makes BC. We're missing the B, so it'd be 2b on the first term in the bracket. It's a minus, so we need a minus here. Again, treat the numbers and letters slightly separately. 2 times what would make 6, 2 times 3. And then for the letters, I've got C on the outside, but I need it to be CY. So it's C times Y to get the final term. In the final example, we're going to do something very, very similar to the last one, again with letters and numbers involved. If we start with the numbers, the highest common factor of 8 and 12 is 4. We then look for letters that are common in both of the terms. Well, both terms have an M and an N. So we're going to have 4mn on the outside. To work out what goes inside, again treat the numbers and letters a little bit separately. So 4 times something makes 8. 4 times 2 makes 8, so I need a 2 for the first part. And then what am I missing? So on the outside I've got mn, but I want the first term to be m squared n, So to get from m to m squared, I'm missing the letter m. So 4mn times 2m would make 8m squared n. It's going to be a plus, and for the second part of the bracket, 4 times something makes 12, so that would be 3. mn on the outside, and I want this term to be 12mn, so in fact I've already got both the letters I need, so here, don't need any more letters on there, and the question is finished.